On Friday the 16th at about 1 p.m., we left our house to head to the Logan Airport in Boston, Massachusetts. So our first flight was from Boston to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco to Fresno. We would arrive in Fresno at 10:36 p.m. Friday night.
And we thought, oh, how horrible and how hard to have to
And not a
do one 5-hour flight and
a
one 2
and a
hour.
layover in San Francisco. Got there plenty early, at being good travelers and prepared travelers that we were. We arrived at 2 o'clock at the airport, and then the delays started coming.
To board. And it was almost 6.
I think it finally left around 6 o'clock or 6:30.
A little bit after 6.
But that eventually reached the point that we knew we weren't going to make our connecting flight to Fresno. And then they also started showing that because of the headwinds, the strong headwinds, we were now going to make a stop in Denver to refuel.
Wait a minute, which you weren't thinking of. I mean, you didn't know anything about.
No, we thought this was a non-stop flight.
Well,
That's what it said.
A flight
it was
from Boston to San Francisco. That was the
a
flight.
non-stop flight, Boston to San Francisco.
Now we were making a stop in
And
Denver.
Finley-
And the Denver- nobody
on a
wants
day
for the
when
Denver
everywhere
airport
it's snowing
anyways.
everywhere in half the country, you don't go stop
You
in
don't
Denver.
stop in Denver. Plus, it's just that everything bad happens in Denver.
I've always had problems with the airport.
In the airport,
Yeah.
yeah. The Denver airport is terrible. So,
And you've been stuck there before, huh?
yeah, I've been stuck there before. They've lost my luggage there. I think every time I've flown through there, my luggage gets lost.
Yeah, so we get to Denver, we land in Denver, and we could see it's starting to snow, and then we are informed when we land that we need to refuel. There's 3 things they need to do. They need to refuel, they need to get new pilots.
And their pilots hadn't shown up. They said, we're illegal. We can't fly anymore because we've been flying for too many hours. And so there should be other pilots here, but we can't find them. We haven't heard anything, so we're not sure where they
Is that
are.
what they said? Illegal?
Yeah.
But because they left, there was no pilots to replace them. So we were waiting for pilots, we were waiting to get refueled, and we were waiting for more snacks and beverages. They had run out. After this, I think.
So we've been sitting there for 2 hours just waiting for them to refuel. They said it's going to be a very short stop, maybe a half an hour, and then we'll be back on our way. Well, 2 hours later, still nothing.
Yeah, we have pilots. We got pilots, and then
We got pilots at one point.
then they
Some
were
guy
trying
came
to
in
get
and emptied the garbages. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and then they were trying to get us off the runway. So then they
said
more
okay,
time
we're
kept
gonna
on
take off.
passing. We weren't moving. Then they said, okay, they're grounded the flight. They're not going to let us go.
Then it started
because
snowing really
it's
heavily.
too icy.
This was a couple hours after we've been sitting there. So we're just sitting on the plane. It's not going at all for hours and hours.
Yeah. And then they say, okay, now we need to get off the plane, but we need to find a gate. And since all the other planes here are also trying to find a gate because no one's allowed to leave,
There's no gate.
There's no gate for us.
So you're going to have to stay on the plane
we
here.
were sitting in this plane, I think from 10 p.m.
It's 5 hours.
till 2 p.m. I want to say. We finally got...
It was 3.
It was 3?
3.
5 hours? 5 hours sitting in the
3:15
plane?
when we walked into the airport. 3:15 a.m.
Yeah, so...
So we're in the plane, and a lady an aisle over from us, when they announced, we can't find a gate, stay tuned, she just started to sob. She breaks out, she's sobbing. And her husband's trying to comfort her, and she's just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. Because we were all so tired. We had just done a 6-hour plane flight, then we just sat in the plane for 5 more hours. And we had Grant, 5 years old, Scarlett, 3 years old, and Annie, 1.
So then we get into the Denver airport, and when we were in Boston, we were telling them we're not going to make our connecting flight. We need to reschedule. They're like, it's okay. Just get to the San Francisco airport, and they will help you find a new one.
Which was the story.
You might have to stay in a hotel or something, but they'll pay for it. Blah blah blah. All right, whatever. So we get to Denver, and the whole airport is in the same boat as us, and so there's hundreds and hundreds of people.
We forgot something.
Probably
important.
thousands of people. I don't know. Trying to get rebook their flights, and I went to the customer service desk to get some help finding a way out of there, and there was just a line a mile long. I could not see the end of the line.
There were people camping out asleep in the line. The line was that long that people were sleeping in it.
Yeah, so we see the line, and it is huge.
So neither of us have slept at all. We left at 4. We got on the plane at 4. Well, no. Anyways, we haven't slept.
Yeah.
Clearly. Not slept.
Still haven't.
So we haven't slept in many, many, many hours. I can't count how many. And it's 6 a.m., so it's like almost time to wake up for us in Massachusetts, and we still haven't gone to sleep. We've drug all the kids off the plane. We're walking through the airport. We see this
We
huge
didn't
line.
drug the kids. We drugged them. just making that clear.
So we see this line.
See the huge line, massive, massive line. I'm thinking like 200 yards at least. I can't see the end of it. And so I just like stand there for I think a good 5 minutes, just kind of like, what am I gonna do? I've got
And
to
the
find
girls and
another
I
way.
are back, like getting off the plane still.
Yeah.
McKay and
No,
Grant-
I told
McKay and
McKenna
Grant
our
ran
phones were
ahead.
almost dead, and told McKenna.
Oh yeah, our phones were both dead because we
need
didn't have
we
any way
need
to charge
phones.
them.
So you sit here, charge your phone, keep the kids. I'm gonna figure this out. So I'm walking around the airport trying to figure this out, and I see the customer service. And I'm just like,
There's no way we would have been in that line for hours and hours.
this isn't.
and
I
hours.
mean, we're never gonna leave this airport. You know. So and they have two people at the desk, and
for
there
how
are
many people staying
hundreds
in line?
and hundreds
of people
in line.
Hundreds of people.
and it is
and
moving,
two people at
and
the
people are
desk.
sitting on the ground sleeping, so it's not moving, obviously. Anyways, it was bad. I was just that's when I started to get a little mad. I'm like, come on! At a time like this, you have two people helping,
And
like
I'm
rebook
sitting
flights.
with the kids.
Where's the rest of your staff?
I'm sitting with the kids. They're sitting on the floor of the airport. I'm sitting next to a plug-in with my phone charging. I feel like I'm gonna pass out,
Yeah,
and I'm trying to like keep all the kids with me.
So then I have the idea of like I've got to figure something else out. I start walking around, or not. They weren't open. There's someone at the gate servicing a line of people, and there's about 20 people in the line. So I'm like, I'm just gonna, even though this flight has nothing to do with mine, I'm gonna wait this line, hope that this lady is merciful and helps me. Announces
And
everyone
McKay
that
tells
she's.
me, "Come back over with the kids."
I tell her to come
to
back
this
over because this
gate.
looks hopeful, right? I'm seeing people get some help here, and the lady announces that she's off at 5, and so she's gonna cut off the stop servicing people after, and she pointed to the girl right behind me, like she's the last, and there's another.
She said, "After this girl right behind McKay, I'm not helping the rest of you." Well, this man gets mad at her. Like, I thought he was going to be physically
He
violent
was-
to her. He was that upset.
Well, I would be upset too. I'd be
And
like,
like, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. But I felt bad for her too. And also, he wasted like 20 minutes of time yelling at her,
there's no, yeah,
you know, when she could have been, anyways, getting people through. But
yeah. So she sent the rest of them to customer service, which anyway,
To
it was
that
just, it
line
was
of, like,
awful.
hundreds of people.
It was awful. I feel terrible for them.
And she starts
Uh,
telling us, you know, she's going through the flights. Where were you going? We said Fresno. And she starts going through the flights. There's no flights to Fresno.
Well,
No
they're
flights
like-
today. We said, okay, what about tomorrow? No flights tomorrow. We're
Like, what
okay, what
about-
about the next day? No flights. No flights.
What about
to-
Bakersfield? What about Merced? What
yeah,
about,
we start asking her for other nearby
like-
airports. No,
and
there's
then
nothing.
yeah.
Anyways, but we haven't eaten at this point. We haven't had any food other than little snacky things.
Yeah,
And so, anyways, so this lady helps us. We're like the last people that she helps.
yeah,
And I cried. Remember that?
yeah.
When she helped us.
I know.
So
I
she
was
found
telling
a
her,
flight
thank you,
for us
Thank you so much.
at 7 a.m. I had looked up flights on their app, and I said, I know there's a flight to San Francisco at 7 a.m. Is there any way you could get us on that?
Yes.
So, so she's like, okay. So she's like punching it in. She's like, okay, yeah, I can get you on that. I can get you on that. And I said, thank you so much. And I just started to cry. I don't know because I loved her, because I was tired, but
So there
we
were
were
a
very
few.
grateful.
Despite all the awful things that happened, there were a couple very tender mercies.
Wait, the
One was
airport's like
that we
on-
made it in that line and didn't have to wait
Yeah.
through customer service, because there is no way
We would
that
still be
if we
there.
were in that line, we would have made the 8 a.m. flight to San
Yeah.
Francisco. So we told her, we're like, if you can get us to San Francisco, that's great. Well, that's closer.
We said,
than,
forget the flight to Fresno. We'll figure it out if you can get us to San Francisco.
And thankfully, we or if we rewind a little bit, we once we realized that we were not going to make our connecting flight to Fresno from San Francisco, we called Brock, and Brock he said that he would come pick us up in
No,
San
they
Francisco.
sent us a text message and said, if you get stuck, Brock will come pick you up.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, well, I'm sure it will be fine. And then,
Yeah, and no, so
But it was not.
he left. Once we realized there was no way we were gonna make the Fresno flight, he volunteered. It was his idea.
But
he volunteered to come help us.
But we were supposed to be in San Francisco that night.
Yeah.
And we didn't make it, so Brock was already in San Francisco.
And he got there early. He got there like 10 p.m.
Yeah, and he was waiting to hear from us, like, are you coming to San Francisco or not? He'd already driven up there, and he didn't know if we were even coming there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we said we're going to try and find a flight to wherever we can. We might not come there at all. We might go to Fresno. We might go to Bakersfield.
And you were, yeah.
And we were giving updates like, okay, we're in Denver. Yeah. We're supposed to be taking off San Francisco. Okay, now we're not going to San Francisco. And he's like, well, are you going to get a flight to San Francisco? And we're like, we don't know. So we kept an update. And I think at around 5 a.m., we finally got that flight booked.
Yeah.
While he's there all that time.
And he's there the whole time.
He was there the whole time waiting in San Francisco to hear if we were going to be flying to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh.
So right after the lady helped us, we had only a few hours before we had to go. We were so happy, but we're in the Denver airport, and we know we're going to be there till 7 a.m. So we go and we sit down. McKay sits on the floor of the airport at this gate where the lady helped us. And I said to him, can I just lay down, like not totally on the floor, like I'll lay partly on you and the rest of me on the floor for like 10 minutes because I just was not feeling good. He was like, oh, sure. So I laid like that for 10 minutes. And Grant was jumping on my face. And Annie was jumping on my face because they just both kept, I don't know, it's kind of sweet. And it didn't bother me at all. It was because I was so tired. And Annie kept crawling over my face and Grant kept jumping right on it. But McKay just let me lay on him for like 10 minutes.
It wasn't the most restful sleep.
It wasn't very restful, so I said, well, forget that. I'm not going to sleep. So McKay said, well, do you mind if I sleep for, some time? And I said, yeah, go ahead, try. So he laid on the floor, and Grant was wide awake at this point. And he said, Grant, come lay down with me. Grant walked over, laid with him, and probably 15 seconds later, they were both dead asleep on the floor of the airport. So McKay had his arm around Grant like this, and they were dead asleep. And Scarlett was sleeping on a seat nearby. So it was just Annie and I were awake. And so they slept for a while.
Half an hour,
and I tapped McKay and I said, Annie and I are going to go try and find some food. So then Annie and I walked over to some shop and I got her a piece of kids' French toast.